All right. Hello, Professor and class. If you have not watched any of my previous videos, my name is Daryl Van Hoos. I would like to first start off with a couple quotes. I've had a lot of worries in my life, most of which have never happened. Second, the secret of getting ahead is getting started. And lastly, don't go around saying the world owes you a living. The world owes you nothing. It was here first. All of these quotes come from Mark Twain, which is actually only a pen name. The real author's name was Samuel Langhorne Clemens, born November 30th, 1835 in Missouri. Though he did try some other names as well, I found out. Thomas Jefferson Snodgrass, Sergeant Fathom, and W. Aponatus Adratus Blob. Yes, those were his real other pen names that he actually wrote books under. But he's probably best known for his writing of The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn or The Adventures of Tom Sawyer. Now, when individuals think of Mark Twain, they remember his great stories and probably believe he was a very financially successful. Well, the truth is mixed when it comes to that. Just before the Civil War happened to break loose, Mark Twain was a steamboat captain, but however, once the war started, that kind of career dried up for him, and he found himself actually in the Confederate Army during the Civil War. Now, after Mark Twain left the war, he traveled to San Francisco, where he began his writing career, which would pay off, rather well. A lot of Americans after the Civil War began venturing west to pursue a different lifestyle or pursue land. America was shaken up, by the Civil War. You had Darwin's theory of evolution, which brought in new elements. You have the transcontinental railroad, the telephone, and you also had these new three literary modes really taking control of America, which was, for American fiction, it was realism, regionalism, and naturalism. And the ability to become an author during the Postbellum America was a far more accessible career option than ever before. And for Mark Twain, he focused on that realism American fiction for his works. So not only him, but plenty of people were becoming authors at the time during Postbellum America. Now, Mark Twain enjoyed tremendous financial success, not only from his writings. He wrote 28 books, but he also gave lectures. The problem with Mark Twain was not his writing, he was a horrible businessman, finding himself in bankruptcy. His worst venture was in 1884. He invested money into James Page's automatic typesetting machine. However, it was an utter failure, and Twain found himself out of money. The machine promised, impressive profits in the future, but it wasn't really profitable yet, and it required a large infusion of capital, which Twain provided, but it wasn't the cash cow that he was hoping for. So he got in financial ruin. But Twain was ever the optimist. In 1895 and 1896, Mark Twain paid off his debt in full by doing lectures around the world. What did Twain lecture on? Well, his primary subject he discussed was morals, which should not be a surprise to anyone if you read his work, especially The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. You would be introduced to a young man who runs away from home, right? And he meets a slave named Jim, and Jim teaches Huckleberry Finn morals through religious stories. Many of the things that happen to Huckleberry are parodies of biblical stories. The most important thing Twain passed down was his ability to define himself based on his morals and his success, not his financial failures, which is something every individual needs to do, right? We all get down sometimes, we beat ourselves up, but we need to remember that we've been successful in other areas. We need to motivate others who are feeling low in the same way, remind them that they still have a lot of good to do, and to not look at their current state as a failure, but it's a lesson, right? We take things away from everything. So thank you guys for your time, and I look forward to seeing the other videos.